with the commish, Nate.
Wrong intro there, but it's okay. Welcome to Press Pass Live. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. I am your host, the commish, Mr. Nate. I don't know why I said Mr. in front of that. I did. I'm sorry. It's late. I'm sick. I don't feel great. I'm hanging in there. I didn't even fix my hair. We're just kind of rolling it back. You see my two handsome fellas over here, the commissioner of the Deuce Dynasty, Mr. Maniac, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and my right-hand man, Mr. Dwayne. Fellas, how you doing today?
Doing wonderful.
Wonderful.
Good. Mr. Beal said, gentlemen, let me crack open another Beal. Dwayne is right there with you. He said one more, then a nice little nappy poo as he rolls to bed. My buddy is on some 412s this week, so we got a tough one ahead of us. What's up, Kev? Good to see you, my buddy. I'm ready to do this, guys. You ready to jump right into it? I don't even have Madden up because there's no reason to. There's nothing to really show anybody. We're going to talk CFM settings. We're going to talk rule changes, and there's probably a couple we can go through. And then we're going to talk top imports, and then I'm going to give some stuff away. I just feel like giving some stuff away. I knew it was late at night, not a lot of people here. I might as well do some blessing and give some things away, and so we're going to do that. Let's jump right into it. All pro versus all man. I'm telling you, I need a nap. Maybe I'm the one that needs the drink. All pro versus all Madden. We're in a discussion right now of what do we do? How do we do this? And I will admit, I posted on Twitter with zero feedback. No one said anything, but there is a little bit of debate. Kevin and Bird pointed out that when they go to settings as an owner, it shows all pro, but when I go there as the owner of the CFM, it shows it as all Madden. It is currently set on all Madden. So there is some debate that maybe it's glitched out, and the reason they both feel similar is because they are, and it's not changing. I don't know. That could be up in the air. I probably have just sent Maniac on a rabbit hole that he's going to spend the next 72 hours researching and send me Reddit posts and Twitters and YouTube posts and all kinds of other stuff. But they do feel very similar. I don't know how much either of you have gotten to play. Maniac looks like he's been playing just a little bit. Dwayne, I never know when you get to play or don't play, but have you guys got to play any of the All-Pro or All-Madden within the CFM, and are there any sort of gut feelings one way or the other?
Well, like with the test CFM that you got up, I've played a couple games. I actually even played a CPU game today, and it just for the heck of it, just to play with the settings, and that played actually pretty good. It was actually a pretty enjoyable game, even versus the CPU. I think I won by 3 points, and so it was really competitive. It also shows all pro for me too, since you said that. So because I was checking the settings, I was like, man, the CPU played really well. Most of the time on all pro, it doesn't play that good. But again, like I said, it may be something, but. If there is a difference, I really don't know. But I mean, as far as the settings that we got right now playing, they seem pretty fluid. And I've played a couple of online games, which I know that those settings are totally different with competitive, whatever that they've got set for online and stuff. But you can definitely tell a little bit of difference between that and what we have set in the CFM, because quarterbacks online are really accurate on the online versus games, and so there is definitely, you can see a difference with the settings and stuff from that, and I think it's good. I think the CFM is in a good spot.
Yeah, I hadn't got to jump in the CFM and play any of y'all's settings yet. Just playing offline or versed with a couple friends of mine. We've kind of tweaked it, playing all pro, all Madden. And I still stand by a lot of the, my old stuff on the all Madden. I thought the computer players just seem like they're a step faster and make a few more plays each game. It's just really tough to find that middle balance. Like I said, it's really interesting hearing y'all talk about the all pro and all Madden kind of being blended. If you could get a blend of all pro and all Madden, I think that would be a perfect blend for what we kind of like. A little bit better computer than you would get with all pro, but not the super teams you get on all Madden. So I'd be really interested to see if that comes to fortune, if that's a real thing or not.
Yeah, I don't know what to think right now. It's weird. It's yeah. I just said I don't know what to think, and I'm trying to fill in the space of not knowing what to
It's
think.
tough.
It all Madden felt like the few games that I played before going back to all pro, before going back to all Madden, it felt like it played really good, but there was just there was no forgiveness. It's like if you made a mistake, you're throwing a pick, right? And we've got to have like some small forgiveness in there, or the upper echelon and the middle player, the gap is just going to explode between those two, because the upper echelon rarely makes mistakes. The middle gap, the normal players like me, are going to make lots of mistakes. We got to sort of find a little bit of a balance there to where not every mistake turns into an interception. But then we went back all pro, played a couple games, and then put it back on all Madden, and I've played a couple games on that, and it's felt really, really good. But then again, as Maniac said, right, he goes to the settings and it shows all pro. So I don't know what to believe. What is it on and what is it not on? I do think 50, and here's the few adjustments: quarterback accuracy and injury. I think those are the two biggest ones. Everything else is 50 all across the board. On all pro, I had quarterback accuracy at 35, and it felt right. It just felt like you had a few inaccurate passes, few passes behind, overthrown, blah, 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 but not everything on the dot. Case, for instance, we played an all-pro game against Big Hurt the other night, 50s across the board, and Penix went like 16 for 16. It's like we can't have that either. Like there's got to be a difference between, you want to say the Tom Brady's of the world, but he doesn't even play in this league, but the Mahomes of the world and the Penixes, who are good players but like need some development. There's got to be some kind of difference between those two players, or no one's ever going to pay a quarterback, and Mahomes of the worlds are going to sit in the free agency. Like there's got to be a difference there. So that's the one. If we go all Madden, probably will stay close to 50, maybe a slight adjustment to like 45-ish, somewhere in there. If we go all pro, I think I maybe said they're all Madden, 45-ish. If we go pro, it's probably going to be the 35-ish. And then, of course, injury, that's always got to be slightly adjusted just because of we don't want a ton of injuries. And we played the other day on 19, and it was like 4 or 5 injuries a game. It's like, okay, it's starting to get too much. I like 2 to 3, somewhere in there, 0 to 3. And most of those being just like short for a quarter or for the rest of the game type of injuries. Like those feel just about right. That forces people to have to build depth and really build a team. The other one that I've been shocked that I've liked, and I just did it on a whim, like let's just see, has been the 8-minute quarters. D-Wayne, I know you haven't got to play a ton of the CFM, if any. I don't even know if you're in there, but Maniac, have you any thoughts about the 8-minute quarters?
The game I played against, I played. Was it you that I played, or you or Big Hurt? You two guys have been the only two I've played human wise. But that game, the 8-minute quarters felt really good. The only thing like today with I noticed with the CPU, which this is what I have to go by, just because that's what I played, but. I ran the ball a lot, and the time clicked off like really quick. I was through with the first half in like 15, 20 minutes. So it was like it went by really quick because I was running the ball quite a bit, trying to control the clock.
Yeah.
And I did throw a little bit more in the second half, and it did kind of extend the game. But you get somebody that is going to be running, 25, 30, 40 times, and throw the ball 10 or 12 times. Not trying to point out like Dwayne. Dwayne is a perfect example.
Right. You better hit that 15 mark now.
That clock. Yeah, he wants to control the clock.
That's right.
And so that may end up coming to be, so I don't know if maybe we need to test, get somebody like Dwayne that's, a guy that likes to pound the rock and see if it's going to be like a 30-minute game, because if it ends up being like that, then it's going to be like, oh, that's like way too short, not enough chances. But again, like I said, that's just something I saw today that I was going to bring out since I knew it was on the subject.
Oh my God, Miller, I get it. I said hello. We see you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank God, Lee. This person's in chat just like, hi. We get it. Yep. Hello. We're talking as you can listen. You have ears. Anyway, tonight doesn't feel like the night, right? Nate needs to go get a nap. I'm grumpy Nate tonight. But anyway, I would say I sort of like that. Like, imagine a different style. As long as you hit the 15 passes minimum, what I'm calling, oh my God, Miller, you're about to get banned from the chat, and I have never banned anybody, but you're pushing my limits tonight.
Ban.
As long as you hit the 15 passes minimum, I sort of like the ability to go into the games against the D. Waynes, the D. Moneys, the Cincy Bergs, the Denbrews, the Randys, and go, I'm just going to run this clock. I'm going to control it. I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to give him very few. It's the Peyton Manning rule, right? It was like the way you beat Peyton Manning, the Colts, is you keep the ball. You don't give them back to Peyton Manning. I sort of like that. I don't know that we'd actually hit 30 minutes, even though 30 minutes for a CPU game sounds like heaven to me. Please don't make me suffer longer than 30 minutes. So I'd be interested to do that in a real game. Miller, I apologize, but you got to go. I got to ban you. Sorry. Put user in timeout. You're going in timeout 24 hours. Come back another day. Outside of that, you got to go. You're driving me nuts. Sorry. I just couldn't. If I seen another hello message or hi with 18 eyes, I was going to punch a cat. I would be interested to play somebody who tries to like grind it out and see like how long it would be. Anyway, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the Pepper. You're such a jerk. You were such a jerk, Pepper.
I started to do it too. I was thinking it.
Yeah, keep pushing it, y'all. Y'all all gonna get banned. I think it would be fun to see like how could two teams really grind it out. Anyway, I have enjoyed the shorter games. I've enjoyed just sort of the extra layer of strategy I thought it was added. So I was interested to see how either of y'all. Dwayne, I know you're just kind of playing your buddies right now, but what do you got playing 9, 10, 11? What are you playing?
Yeah, we kind of set that. I think we've always do 10 minutes with like a 20-second runoff where it gets down to 20 seconds. And it runs, like I said, depends how you play. If you play like a Mia Maniac or somebody that wants to grind it out, it's a little bit quicker, 45 to 55 minutes, depending. You get a team that wants to air the ball out, or you can start getting a sizable gap, a 20-point lead or something like that. It's kind of like last year. It runs about an hour and 10 minutes. I do think it really, kind of resides in the owner of who you're playing and how long it's going to be. Because I had some games last year in our league that were 50-minute games if you ran into teams that just wanted to run the ball against each other all game long. But then you do play like a Dolphins or Trey back when in his heyday with the Lions. Trey wanted to throw the ball 60 times a game, and so you would have a longer game. I'd be interested to see that 8 minutes and see how it plays out. To touch back what y'all were talking about earlier about that quarterback, if you remember early in Kobe's tenure here when he did the Felipe Franks with the Falcons. Mm-hmm. If you remember, Felipe Franks was awful. Coming from a Razorback fan, he was awful. And he turned into a stud quarterback. And I honestly can't remember how we, mitigated that issue. It wasn't an issue. Kobe was just playing great with that quarterback. But like you said earlier, if guys can win with 65 overall quarterbacks, nobody's ever going to pay a quarterback. So you're just going to have a bunch of studs sitting in free agency. So I'd be interested in what route we go to kind of, get that fine line of, hey, if you're willing to pay that superstar quarterback, then it's worth it for you to pay that superstar quarterback versus a team that doesn't rely on the quarterback and he can get by, but it's not near the level. You look at somebody like Massimo's Massimo, Kevin, those guys get these superstar quarterbacks and they can take it to another level with that superstar quarterback. And I'd be really interested to see. And like I said, I can't recall how we managed that back then, but it's a similar situation. I'd be interested to see how it works out.
Any other settings that we didn't talk about you think would be important to talk about?
I don't know. I feel like those have been for me anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'll just think about. Sorry, Manny. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
is the user. You know, we kind of always run into that issue with the like user pass interference, and I don't know where you play that line at because both of y'all are good user, way better user covers than I am, and I've seen Nate kind of bump and run coverage. Nipples bump and run coverage. Kobe's a good person in his secondary, and I know there's such a fine line between letting that that user kind of, I ain't gonna say have his way, but it's really hard to cover that receiver, or tight end man up without bumping them, especially without trying to guess which route he's trying to do. That fine line of knocking them off the route and getting a penalty, or playing legit defense where it's just very physical coverage. I'm interested to see that line and that setting right there.
The problem with I agree with you. I'd love to get more defensive pass interferences. It's such a real call in real life that we never see here. The game just refuses to call it. I hate when even this. It's not a user; it's a CPU that bumps your players. Like you're trying to do a timing route, and they clearly get bumped, and there's just no call. It drives me up a wall. The problem with that penalty setting is it doesn't. I haven't found it does two things. Number one, it doesn't actually call more penalties for bumping them. Sometimes it will, but a lot of times we haven't seen a big swing in that. And the bad part about it that Maniac and I've seen from other slider guys out there is that it affects the interactions for all DBs. So it's like even though it's a penalty slider, it affects the animations between regular CPU DBs and wide receivers and how they interact with each other, which is a stupid thing to tie together, but that's how the game has it programmed. And so if you start really messing with that, let's say we want to turn it up, from 50 to 75 to allow for more penalties to get called for guys who go and bump receivers, it throws the rest of the game off because it's programmed where the receiver DB interactions go through there. So I'm open to it. I'm definitely not against it, just knowing that it has a greater effect outside of just stopping the, just to pick on Nipples because he can take it, the Nipples of the world from having those bumps and doing that multiple times a game.
Yeah, I've been going both ways on that one. I've seen good defensive plays though be called a pass interference, just because it's a user defender.
Yep.
And as a
fair.
linebacker guy, I'm sure y'all ran into it before. You're just playing that middle area, and if you kind of bump that guy with the balls in the air, I think they actually called like illegal touching rather than pass interference last cycle. But yeah, there's just a fine line both ways. I wasn't trying to attack the secondary
I know you weren't.
At the same time, I've seen it called before where it's kind of a really touchy one that if it was a computer, it would not have been called.
Yeah. The other slider that has that same effect, again, Maniac and I have fallen down some deep, dark holes that we've had to work through in our relationship because they get dark for Maniac sometimes. But the roughing the quarterback slider, it affects how defensive ends interact with defensive tackles. It's like the dumbest thing, but it's how they've programmed these things. So if you lessen or up that quarterback roughing the quarterback penalty slider, it either releases the defensive ends faster or longer, depending on like where you have that slider. So it's just two finicky sliders to sort of think about. It might be a way though, and it's something that we can talk about a little bit. I don't want to make this an 8-hour show, but I feel like pressure in this Madden still isn't awesome. It definitely isn't college football, which I'm fine with. It doesn't need to be college football, but it doesn't feel that much better than last Madden. And again, I think that is fully by design, but maybe we could increase that just a little bit without touching sliders by just doing that penalty slider. And so maybe we can increase some of that coverage issue that we've seen in the game and increase some of the pressure issue that we've seen in the game by just kind of barely adjusting those two sliders. My whole concept, just to say one more time for everybody about sliders, is that I've watched Maniac and I and Roger and I for years, forever. Like literally, this has been a problem since day one of running the OMFL in 2001 of messing with sliders. And I've just kind of, with a console game, they create the game for 50 sliders. And so if you want the updates to not radically change your league and just frustrate yourself, frustrate owners, and chase your tail, then just you best leave them alone or leave them as close to the 50 as you can. We said that last Madden, Maniac and I did, and we didn't hold each other to it. We ended up chasing our tail, and to the point where I was like, Maniac, this is your problem. Go figure it out. Tell me what to do. I'm sick of it. So anyway, it's just something for us to keep in mind. Before we move on, any other slider setting talk?
Not on my end.
No, I'm good.
Maniac's being nice. I know he can talk about sliders for a long time.
I could, but yeah.
We'll see where they fall. We'll see where they fall. I think the biggest thing will be deciding all Madden, all Pro, and then playing it from there. I'm really excited, and we'll talk about it, but waiting for this update to come out. Hopefully that happens soon with a little preseason roster update to maybe get some of these undrafted rookies that are making a difference, possibly on some rosters. A lot of times they still don't make the roster, but maybe, and let's just kind of see where they go. Rule changes. I want to talk a little rule changes. We've done some cleaning up, mainly just to make things easier to remember. I've bounced all the cycles that you can with rules, from let's have 100 billion rules to let's have no rules to everything in between. I feel like the board does a good job of helping me stay balanced. This is how it normally works. Nate, after every cycle, whiptails the other direction, cuts a bunch of rules out, cleans a bunch of things up, and then the board slowly makes me add things back in until at the end of the cycle we have like a happy medium. And so we kind of play that game. I did not do that this year. I did not go and throw away a bunch of things. I've just cleaned up some stuff, tried to add some things back after you guys allowed me to take away a lot of stuff last Madden, and also open things up a little bit last Madden. So mainly when you look at the rules, we've tried to work on cleaning up the language to make it easy to memorize. For the first time in a long time, I've been an owner in the Deuce, and getting to experience multiple messages in one day for DMs and in announcements. I've realized, holy cow, like, you can get overwhelmed. You're working all day, you get 5 messages, you're trying to keep up, and I'm the world's worst. I send multiple very long messages, then I tag people in the announcements chats, and then we get into games and you're trying to remember, what can I do against the CPU? What can I do against this? It's hard to remember all those things. If you play in multiple leagues, it's like almost impossible. So I'm trying to make it fun. I just want to get back to having fun again, making it easy to remember. There's a balance there. We can't just say free for all, do whatever you want, but also trying to make it easy. So one of the things you'll see is the adjusted 50% rule, which is the guiding rule for everything. It's been cleaned up a little bit to show that there's some leeway. It's not going to be, oh, you went one play over. Like, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for guys to just mix it up. So you're going to see the 50% rule, just more clarity and expectations. We've adjusted the rule catch. I think he'll correct me. I think I took this from Maniac. I like the simplified wide receiver catch rule. And it's basically wide receivers, tight ends, anyone who's not a wide receiver, combine their catches up with your wide receiver. Actually, now I don't know what it is, because now I'm starting to question that I got it wrong. Anybody, what is it, Maniac? I know you wrote it.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up.
See,
here.
you don't have it either. I had it pulled up and I closed it because I was like, I'm not going to need this. We're going to be talking, and then I get in the middle of this and I'm tired and I'm on medicine and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot. Here it is. Receptions per game. No running back, fullback, or tight end individually or combined. That's how I worded it. So individually or combined can have more than 50 to 55% of your catches at the end of the game. Abuse this rule in any portion of the game, because I've seen that happen. It is classic OMFL. Guys are going to hit the tight end 6 times in the first half, 3 times in the first quarter, 4 times in the first drive, right? They're just trying to get the lead, and then they'll figure out how to make it work at the end. That grinds my gears. Don't do that. Just don't abuse it. And we're just basically trying to make people mix it up here, clean it up. Wide receivers are supposed to catch the ball. Game will never cover tight ends well. Now fullbacks and running backs, right? We want them to be weapons and somebody that you can use, but you shouldn't be running Texas routes every 3rd and long. You shouldn't be running wheel routes every 2nd and long. We're trying to get you to mix it up a little bit. Passing types in the game, this is going to be changing. They are adding in the new college football revamp passing. So we're going to discuss as a board and have some real testing to have discussions, even though it's exactly what they have in college. So it should be a little bit more of a learning curve. The game's been out for a month and a half by the time we get going here. It will probably be one of two things. Everybody's got to use the new one. So everybody's got to use the revamp passing, or you can use the revamp passing or classic. And if you go classic, you lose sort of the new arc, the new kind of ways that you can get the ball to your receivers. That's what I'm leaning to. The board is going to help me make that decision. Audibles are back. I'm giving you back audibles. Just falls under the 50% rule. Still cannot hot route. So you can't call a run to the right and then hot route it to the left. Still, it's like I still want to make plays matter. If you want it to go to the left, you need to pull up the audible, flip the play. You can do that. But you have audibles back all the time. Do them whenever you want. You can use the smart route or the manual adjust. That has a word, and maybe Maniac can help me remember the word, but it's called something where you can just basically adjust manually where the route's going to go. Again, it falls under the 50% rule. Don't do it 50% of the time, but you are allowed to either smart route to the first down marker or allowed to manually adjust a route to make it as deep or shallow as you'd like for it to be.
It's stem route.
Stem routes. There we go. We don't believe in stem research, but we believe in stem routes, so you can do that. I'm totally joking with that as well. And then we cleaned up the roaming rule because leaping linebackers are back. So this is going to be a problem. I already hear people DMing me complaining. I don't want to get into this freaking argument about you roamed one play. Listen, if a guy the entire game is going sideline to sideline, numbers hash mark to hash mark, then maybe you have an argument. I'm not arguing over 1 third down play that you threw a pick on. Be smarter. Don't throw the ball or suck it up and eat your pick. But also don't roam. You know who you are. You know what you do. Don't get the fast, strong linebacker and just take away the entire field. We're trying to keep that from happening. So we've cleaned up that roaming rule just a little bit. And then the biggest ones that we're going to still discuss, not only the passing, but we're going to look at the kickoffs. Are there anything that needs to be added or taken away with the new kickoff rule? It feels like probably not. And then finally, and this is one that Maniac brought up in the launch stream, and that's looking at what I'm calling the Taysom Hill rule. And that is, how could we open it up for people who have those big, tall, physical receivers who have 86 speed? How can we let them move them to tight end or fullback? Or how can we allow other playmakers to get on the field, but do it in a way that doesn't feel super cheesy and super like guys are doing gimmicky stuff? So those are all the rule things. I don't know what you guys think, what questions you have, what comments you have, but anything about our new rules as we get ready for season 111.
I like the rule changes that you've done. I think that it does allow a little bit more freedom, and also it gives a little bit more room for personality in your play calling. I think also as well.
It's a good word.
Because like a lot of teams, you may have a team that's built more for, say, a short. I think I was talking to Roger about this with his college team that he's got. There's so many more teams in college versus the Madden, because obviously Madden, there's 32 teams in the NFL, but there's still a difference between, like, say, the Kansas City Chiefs, and then you look at a team kind of like, say, the Eagles. The Chiefs are spread you out 5 wide, throwing streaks down the field, and getting, deep routes going all over the place, whereas like the Eagles are a little bit more compact. They will spread you out some, but they're a little bit more compact, and they focus more around their running game, kind of a little bit more hard-nosed type plays, that revolve around getting, 5-6 yards a pop instead of getting the 50-yard one-play touchdown, as you see the Chiefs have done a lot in the past. So I think it does open up for some diversity, and also just pointing out, you talk about the roaming. One thing that I kind of explained to guys too, and I think I've seen this. It seems like college football and Madden's kind of mirrored each other on a lot of the play calling type things, with the play art and the type of plays that you can call. there's a lot more match concepts in this year's games than there has been ever in the past. So those matching concepts, and I get so confused on it sometimes when my user guy, I'm so used to like, okay, I need to play my zone and stuff, and the next thing you know, okay, well, I've called a match, and I'm actually supposed to match up and follow this guy across the field, but I see the cornerback from the other side going across the field. I'm like, what is he doing? He's supposed to be playing his zone. No, it's match. So he's matched up on him and he's following him. So I was supposed to go over there. So a lot of times that will create open plays for guys that I've played against and stuff. So again, like when you call those match plays, you also got to be aware that there is going to be some mirroring. Even though it is a zone play, there is some mirroring of like a man type defense that corresponds with that play too. So but anyway, just trying to not get too long-winded.
No, you're not. I think also just allowing guys to go make plays. Like you got to allow people to go make plays and go make a play on a ball. Just don't throw it. What we're trying to stop is the guy who at the snap runs straight back and then to the right to cover the tight end, and then when you don't throw, he's automatically to the left, and he's so fast he can cover the whole field, and no matter what you do, like that's roaming. Okay, if he's not doing that, suck it up. Like, don't throw the ball. Nobody made you throw the ball. I don't know. It's just it's a catch-22, but leaping linebackers are back. So prepare yourself mentally if you've not played this game. It is back. It is not as bad as it used to be, but it is back. Which makes Dwayne very happy. Because he's a great middle linebacker user.
I've been caught on the throwing into that too, so I get the frustration. I'd like the idea that we simplified it. That's I've run into that a lot with guys here. They play the game, and you kind of decipher through some of the guys who also just like to complain sometimes, and the ones that really do stress that it's just really hard to keep up with certain rules during the game and certain this and people like me, a maniac, and obviously you, Nate, but like Bill, guys that have been here for 5, 6, 7 Maddens. It's a lot easier to grasp the concept of the OMFL and the way we do stuff, and we've varied over the years, but our how we've kind of built it and did a lot of it is the framework has kind of stayed the same, and so a lot of these newer guys have a harder time grasping that, and I do think cleaning things up for them is only going to help these guys. Kind of like the passing thing, or I guess you said the adjusted 50% rule, and I think you said it earlier. Instead of having that kind of like the hard line, kind of, that 50. I think the exact words, no running back, you said have more than 50 to 55% of the catches. Just kind of leaving some room for interpretation there on, hey, if a guy missed it by one reception or one pass or something of that nature, and then the other guy loses, and that's as soon as he goes, after the game's over with, he's in Nate's DM saying that he missed that by one. You see that a lot, and I think that'll open that up to where maybe we don't have quite that type of issues. So I'm interested. Again, kind of like you said, I think as the Madden goes on, we do kind of add and take stuff away. And I think the board, the league as a whole, but the board is very open and usually very good at working with each other and deciding on what needs to stay, what needs to be added. And I don't think anybody in OMFL, I don't think anybody's voice falls on deaf ears here. So we're always listening, not just going to say we're going to take action, on something that you want done or you feel like needs to be done. But I do think we listen very good as a board and as a community here, that if people do have suggestions, stuff like that, I think we're pretty good at, at least taking into consideration.
I agree with you. Let me see if I can wake up the chat. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do imports and talk about our 2 imports that we have our eyes on that we think are going to be really impactful in season 111. Each of us are going to give a final thought. When I get to mine, I'm going to look at the chat. I'm going to pick somebody, hopefully not somebody that's won already like 8 times, but I'll pick somebody, and they're going to get something from the merch store. So get to talking in there so I can have some more names to pick from. Let's do that. Let's talk about our imports that we're watching in Madden 25. Dwayne, I'm going to let you go first.
You just want one of them, or you want both of them?
Let's just do one right now, and then we'll bounce around to our ones.
Well, my one, the first one I got, and it was kind of different one, and I know this is the heavy favorite going into this Madden import wise is cornerbacks, and I picked this cornerback based on not what he'll do with this cornerback, but what this cornerback will do to his other cornerback, and that's Julian Mitchell with the Ravens. Everybody knows the Nipple is not going to use him. He's going to put him on the other side of the field, and Nipple's going to grab just an average rated cornerback and lock down the other side. And so he kind of makes you pick your poison. Do you want to throw this guy? And I'm assuming he's import, but he probably will be nerfed. He's like 99 across the board in about everything. And so you got to pick your poison. You want to throw to depending on what difficulty we play on. Do you want to throw to a 99 overall cornerback on one side or to a user on the other side? And I think it's just a really good move for him in a division that has some very good passers in it, that he's going to have, quote unquote, 2 lockdown defenders on the edges there. And I just think it's a really good move. He's got him at a reasonable cap. I mean, for a 99 overall guy, he's getting him at $15.5 million for pretty much the whole cycle. And the grand scheme of things, that's pretty reasonable for that flight of a cornerback. He's 27. He should make it to probably year 4, maybe 3 before he starts kind of regressing a little bit. But I think that the ability of having him on the other side will tempt people to throw at Nipples a little bit, and that can be scary.
Yeah, that's a good pick, man. I'm kind of looking at across the rosters here for the imports, and like you said, like cornerbacks. Like I don't think I've seen a team yet that's not bringing at least one cornerback with them for an import. So D Money is started a trend.
Oh my.
For sure. But the one guy I'm looking at here, and I think is going to pay big dividends for the Cardinals, is going to be the quarterback Austin Henry. He has a 99 overall X factor, 25 years old. I don't know where he sets for his. I don't know if he's already re-signed him yet. But man, bringing that guy in with the young roster that he's got. I know he's still got Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray's still not just an average guy off the street. He's better than a lot of the quarterbacks. So, but bringing this guy in and having that type of quarterback in your backfield, and the receivers now that he's got with Marvin Harrison Jr. And some of those guys that he's got on the outside, this is going to be a really big player for the Cardinals, especially looking at the NFC West division that he's in. He's going to need all the help he can get, but I think Austin Henry is going to be one of those bright and shining quarterback stars of the OMFL this Madden.
You talk about his contract maniac. He's either in the last year of his deal, probably a 5th-year option, or he's fixing to have to be re-signed. And with Kyler Murray making the kind of money, he's got a big quarterback decision, and that looks like Kyler Murray's hitting the road on that one.
Kyler Murray hit the road last year and never really gained traction with anyone. Everyone sort of like had him as a backup and never really gave him an opportunity to lead their franchise. Just an interesting thing to happen. Just because Kevin said it in the chat, that's a joke. I already picked this one earlier today. I'm going to take Tavon Lambert, the wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. Listen, this kid's 6'1", 180 pounds. Not a super big body, but big enough. 98 speed, 93 acceleration, 92 agility, 91 change of direction, 89 spectacular catch, 87 jump, 92 catch, 91 catch in traffic. He's got great short, medium, and deep route running. He's got good release, and he still has 2 years left on a rookie contract deal. So he's going to be pretty sharp on the salary cap, and what D-Money will probably do is trade him away in that last year of the deal, make somebody else pay him, get a bunch of first-round picks and good players that he can continue to build up, and just keeps rinsing and repeating. What D-Money and those like him that do, who are really good GMs, is not confusing, is not complicated. Number one, they work the hell out of those phones. Once D-Money has his fangs in you, he does not leave you alone until you work that deal out with him. For guys like me, I just don't have time to do that. But that's why they are so good, is they work those phones really, really well. And number two, they're smart. They know to sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low. And what I've learned about the D-Moneys of the world, because there are multiple really good GMs like them, is that they have a way of letting you think less of your player and higher of their player. The great salesman, right? Like, my guys are worth much, much more. I am doing you a favor by doing this deal. But the truth is you got to find that middle ground for both you and the other team. So Mr. Taven Lambert is going to be my number one pick. Mr. Maniac, let's mix it up and go back to you for your second one.
Yeah, so looking at, again at not just trying to go along with the cornerbacks, but I think this guy right here that I'm going to point out, I think is going to be another great player, and it comes from the NFC South, and we're looking at Birdman, and he's bringing over that. I thought he played middle linebacker. It says on Neon Sports it's right outside linebacker Warren Barnes, but man, this guy was almost as good as some safeties and cornerbacks picking the ball off. He was like in the top I think 10 in overall interceptions for not just his position but overall defense wise. So I think he had like 8 something picks or something like that. But anyway, this guy is going to be somebody that I think is going to make some headways going throughout this Madden. Bird has been an excellent user. And we're talking about a guy that's got 88 speed, 92 acceleration, and he just gets in and out really quick. And he's got great play recognition and tackle, man. So he is just going to be one of these guys that probably going to hear his name called a lot when you watch a Panthers game. Mr. Barnes is going to be making a lot of plays in the backfield and picking balls off, man.
Pause. Mr. D. Wayne, who's your second guy?
Wow. I say it's a safe choice, but I was looking through some of the imports earlier and just browsing through and just trying to see which ones, are somebody like me. I just try to fill out my roster. I want, pick certain spots and kind of fill out. I look at the Cowboys roster and see what they need and just kind of try to plug and play a little bit unless you just got like a home run import. But I look at the Dolphins and Joe Duke. You just look at him. He's a cheap quarterback. I think he's going his second year of his deal. So he's going to be cheap for 3 years. He's already 97 throw power, 87 speed, 85 acceleration. So he's a mobile, strong arm quarterback. And we all know what Massimo likes to do. He loves to pass. He's got speed. He's got Tyreek Hill. That first year or two, if it hadn't been for the mass inclusion of these cornerbacks, Tyreek Hill might break all kinds of records with this quarterback throwing to him at 99 speed. And he has a way with quarterbacks. He doesn't need a super stud quarterback, but when he's only 83 overall. And now by the time he re-signs him, depending on how Massimo uses him and stuff like that, he's probably going to be pretty expensive. But for these first 3 cheap years, he's going to be a stud. And that Dolphins offense is going to be a juggernaut in that division. And it's just a great pick for Massimo. He knows his bread and butter is passing the ball, putting you back on your heels and putting the pressure on you. And he'll do that with Joe Duke.
Massimo, even though he didn't have a great season in that second to last season and last season, he was one of the few teams. There's a handful of teams that literally wanted me to delete the game. Like, playing them made me go, I just want to delete this game and never touch it again. It felt like he was toying with his food. All that speed, it didn't matter who you covered up, he was going to get the ball to him. And if you did cover everybody up, he would just take off with the quarterback. It's like, okay, I can't, what am I supposed to do here? The other team that made me really want to quit was the Condors, a.k.a. the Indianapolis Colts, and that's where my second import is going to come from. Mr. Randy Cruz Jr., this is a normal dev middle linebacker, but he's already 78 overall, 90 speed, 91 acceleration, 74 strength, 80 awareness, 75 play recognition, 85 tackle. He's got the 80 pursuit, the 74 block shed. Can work on that a little bit. 78 hit power. That's not too bad. But with leaping linebackers back in this Madden, I think this guy's going to be an absolute monster. What Bronco Man, a.k.a. Mr. Randy, can do with a middle linebacker is absolutely crazy. I think this guy is going to be a massive import for him and is going to go a long way to revamping that Indianapolis Colts defense. I can't wait to see what he can do. Guys, let's close it out with one final thought. We've talked settings, we've talked rules, we've talked import players. Not a lot left to talk about outside. Let's just get in there and start playing. So one final thought, Mr. Maniac.
Yeah, that's about what I was gonna say. Is man, we've talked the talk. Now it's time to walk the walk, and let's get into the games and start playing. Really excited to get things rolling. It's always nice to see the imports when they get created and put in the game. Kind of see your team come together. What the team that you're going to have to roll with for this Madden. So it's always nice to see your team kind of as a whole and get to play with them and move forward and try to I'll ultimately try to win OMFL championship, but it just the games with the guys, they're fun, they're exciting, competitive, and it's always a good time playing here in the OMFL. I do have one request though, and it just kind of like, I don't know if you know, but have you ever heard of Ray Stevens in the Street, the song?
Yes.
They call him the Street. Woo!
Yes.
You need to get that and put it in on your stream, so that way when Kevin runs a streak,
Especially in the college league, the streaks are popular in the college game. Before we go to Dwayne though, any openings in the Deuce, or is there like a waiting list? Like, how can people get involved in the Deuce?
So we have no openings currently, but we do have a waiting list. I've got one guy in waiting right now. But if they're interested in playing in the Deuce Dynasty, obviously you join our Discord here at Grown Folks. Select the topic of the Deuce Dynasty for college football. We'll get you in there. Right now, we really hadn't put together like a vetting thing to go through, but mainly what I've done with a couple of guys that have come through. That are new to the community, whatever. I just go in and play them, like a quarter, and just chat with them. And so that's kind of been my vetting process so far. But yeah, everybody seems like they're for the most part enjoying the game, and we've been rolling with 32 guys so far strong. So it's been fun.
That's awesome. Some updated merch coming for the Deuce. I've got some ideas percolating in the head, and I'm sure Maniac may as well. So we'll get some new designs, and I've got some new ideas for the OMFL merch. Right now, it's just sort of our logo on just about anything. But I'm gonna start doing some player cutouts, start doing some personalized team logos, and so if you guys are willing to buy the stuff, I'll get some new stuff updated. Dwayne, close us out with a final thought.
Patience. I know everybody's ready to go. I don't know if most of these guys remember, was it 2 Maddens ago? We got one season in, and they had the glitch or something happened. We had to reset everything, and there was the amount of frustration was enormous. And I just would preach patience. We're not that far away, and I'm itching just as bad as everybody else to get to wheeling and dealing and playing. And but yeah, if you could preach anything, just patience and get it all set up, and I think it'll be well worth it to make sure everything's right before we start.
I absolutely agree with you. We got to talk to Jana, though, and see if we hook you up with some merch, because you're not a big merch guy, even though you got an OMFL cup, or at least you used to have an OMFL cup. Can I get you some merch and get her to do some modeling for the merch? I think that will increase the sales of our merch 10 times over.
She does have the sweater I think I got a year or two ago. It's an oversized sweater. So she oversizes the OMFL sweater all the time.
All right. Well, I'm gonna see if we can't get you a whole box of merch, get some photos flowing, and see if we can't get these boys start purchasing some more stuff. Guys, I agree with my guy Dwayne. Just be patient with us. I seen poor Maniac. Almost murder himself just trying to get the Deuce to be what he wanted it to be. And look, he had to, I don't want to speak for the man. He's a grown man, and he's right here on my screen. Like, he had to go on his own journey of like reality from dream after the game dropped, but he about killed himself having to restart that league 4 or 5 times. With us, every time we restart, we have to rebuild all those imports, even though I got to do idea to see if we can't make that not happen, even though it slows the work down. So just be patient. I also whatever roster we pick, hopefully we'll get a preseason updated roster before we get rolling. That's what we got. I'm not forcing trades. Like, we used to do all that. It's just too much headache. Like, there has to be a line drawn, and where I'm drawing the line is like, whatever the game says we have, that's what we have. Roster, trades, contracts. If it's in there, it's in there. That's what we're going with. If there was a real life trade that isn't in the roster that we picked, I apologize. Sorry. Go work it out with that guy and see if you can make a trade happen. I don't know what to tell you. So hopefully the Judon deal is in there. Hopefully the Simmons deal is in there. I'm already hearing from Big Hurt is they going to be in there. Like, I have no clue. We're going to pick the biggest roster that we can with the most updated players that we can so that guys can pick their own, practice squads, the own guys that make their team, right? NFL is going to cut players with really good speed. That's ultimately what it all comes down to. We want guys with speed. We want the project players that we can hopefully build. We're trying to give you that, but I'm not jumping through hoops and like forcing deal. I'm just not doing that. It's too much headache. And every time something glitches out, we got to rebuild. Like, all that stuff has to get redone. We're just not doing it. So be patient with us. This update has to come. I'm not taking the chance of starting the franchise. The passing mechanic comes out and we got to restart. I'm just not chancing that. So as soon as that drops, we're going to see what roster we have and then make a decision as a board if it's willing to wait another week or go. I'm hoping that happens in the next 7 to 10 days, though, before we're ready to go. So hopefully we'll be really good. See, we already got Kobe in the chat, right? Hopefully the preseason roster so rookies have their development traits. See what I mean? Like, it's going to be what it is. I promise 100 times that we're going to try to give you guys the best one that we can. It also gets really confusing when it's like, use preseason roster or upload the default roster. I'm like, I don't know. And I freak out and I just start pressing buttons. So it's just like, we'll do what we can to make it the best that we can. But save yourself the energy, because I will ignore whatever roster DMs you send me. I'm just ignoring them. I just don't know what else to say. I don't have the energy in me. Like, I'm not fighting for your 67-year-old overall undrafted, 95 speed wide receiver that you really want. I'm losing them too, so you're going to lose them there. So we'll see what happens. They're not on the preseason roster. We'll see. We will see. We'll wait for a roster update. Hopefully that comes with the passing mechanism update. If not, guess what? None of us are getting them. I just don't know what else to say. We can't wait a month to get started, and I'm not restarting the league 18 times. So we will see. We will see whatever happens. So my final thought is just have fun. Like, I've been preaching it since I knew the NCAA game was coming out, that there was going to be these massive lines in the sand drawn about which game was better and which one people liked the most and which one people would rather play and what they don't want to play, and people leaving Madden to go play NCAA. I'm already over it, and Madden has been out for like 4 days. So let's just have fun. Enjoy both games. They're both good. They're both flawed. They both are what we have. So just play them or don't, one or the other. But I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it in the chat. Let's just get back to having fun, and that's ultimately what it's all about. It was refreshing to play D-Money the other day and know that he didn't care and I didn't care, and we were just playing a game. Nobody left frustrated. Nobody left mad. Nobody except for his son. His son got mad. He had to leave. But let's just get back to having fun again. Life is too short. I'm officially entered the age where some of you are not there yet because y'all are still young whippersnappers and grasshoppers, but I'm officially entering the age where people are just dying. Like, just people my age are just falling over dead. You know what I'm saying? It's like life is way too short for us to be doing that. Like, let's just enjoy each other's company. Let's enjoy playing a game. Let's make friendships. Let's make content. Just get back to having fun and like taking ownership of, like, we play in the world's oldest online CFM. Nobody can take that from us, and I think that that's pretty cool. So looking in the chat, you know what? I'm blessing Mr. Kobe. Even though he's sending me these long messages about X Factors and Devos. Kobe, I don't know how else to say it. I don't care. I really don't care about Devos and what's in there, what's not in there. Whatever roster we pick, that's what we got. And I already said we're going to try to wait for a preseason updated roster. But if they don't put one out, If all they give us is the first updated roster is the cut down to 53 roster, I'm telling you now, we're not going with it because we don't do that. So we'll have to figure out the Devo stuff or whatever. We'll figure that part out. I think that would be pretty easy to figure out if we have to go with something. But I love you, and this is not personal. It's just like when it comes to rosters, I tick out a little bit because I'm the one that rebuilt this one almost by hand by myself until Mr. Maniac came and helped a little bit, and I pulled a week during my Christmas holiday break, staying up till 2 a.m. rebuilding this roster, and just to have people complain. It's just like, I'm not doing that again. D-Money, as he said in chat, rebuilt imports like 3 times. That guy's a monster rebuilding imports. So it's just a lot of work. Anyway, I'm ranting about something that's not even a thing. So whatever we have, that's what we're going with. And for some reason that's broken, quote unquote, because the Devos, we'll like figure it out. We'll give everybody 48 hours to submit their upgraded Devo from the roster or whatever, and we'll go change it ourselves, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, Kobe, send me your government name, your email address, your physical mailing address, the size t-shirt you want, and the color t-shirt you want. And I think you owe me one anyway. So, make it 2, make it a sweatshirt. I don't care. Just send me something. We'll get you 2 things in the mail. Get that updated. I think that's another final thought. Man, I'm really on a ranting roll here for somebody who can't think clearly. Rant. For you, my platinum owners, you're killing me. Thank you for helping us, but I want to get your stuff ordered, and I know what's going to happen. You're going to hit me all at one time, and I'm going to be busy, and I'm going to forget, I'm going to miss. I want to get your stuff ordered. So take a second, go look it up, and let me know so I can get that over to you. Dwayne, Maniac, I appreciate you. Hopefully you have finished that last little beverage of yours, Dwayne, and you can go take a good nap. Mr. Maniac is sending the last couple chillins off to college, and so it's been a good time. I appreciate you guys making time for me on a Monday night.
It's been fun, man.
Enjoyed it.
Fellas, I love you. You matter. This was all in fun and laughing and kidding and joking and parody, so none of it was serious. I'm really excited to get started. I've missed you guys. I've missed all of it. I'm ready to get going. Bill, let's get a photo. We need some more photos, and these scruffy hair men photos ain't selling merch. So we gotta get your wives in some photos here so we can start selling some of this merch and making some income to give away some stuff. So a lot of good things planned. You guys have been awesome with the donations, and we've been giving away tons of stuff, but way more things are coming. I think I'm going to do some PlayStation 5 Pro controllers here soon. So a lot of fun things on the books, a lot of fun things planned. I can't wait to do it. Till then, take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. Know that you are loved and that you matter. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Till then, God bless.
Smash that like and subscribe.